Hi, I'm Mike Sargent, and this is Arise on Screen.
People keep asking if I'm back. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
An ex-hitman comes out of retirement to track down gangsters who've taken from him everything that matters. Keanu Reeves is John Wick. We'll talk to the star.
I didn't want to let the directors down.
Hey, did you hear the one about the grown woman who started hanging out with a bunch of pubescent kids?
No, what?
No, I'd never heard of it before either.
Keira Knightley is Megan, a confused 20-something-year-old who runs away from a marriage proposal and finds comfort with an unlikely friend, a teenager played by Chloe Moritz in Laggies.
Fisherman.
No, you're not fisherman. You're a pirate.
A troubled Somalian father who struggles to keep his family fed lead him into the dangerous waters of piracy in Fishing Without Nets. All this and more on Arise on Screen.
Hello, I'm Mike Sargent, and welcome to Arise on Screen, your global home for films both on screen and behind the scenes. Let's get to it first with this week's box office winners. Fury tops the box office this week, followed by Gone Girl, The Judge, The Best of Me, and Book of Life rounds it out in the number 5 spot. And in movie news,
There's two kinds of people in this world. There's hammers and nails.
In Focus, Will Smith gets his sexy on as a veteran grifter who becomes romantically involved with a young female con artist he's taken under his wing. Their budding romance complicates business and jeopardizes their biggest con of all. Focus opens in theaters in 2015.
I happen to have a very high regard for your wobbly bits.
Really?
It's been 10 years since the release of Bridget Jones' The Edge of Reason. Fans still long for a third installment of the British romantic comedy, but it looks like actor Hugh Grant won't be signing on as rakish bad boy Daniel Cleaver. Grant is telling the media that he's passing on the role. So where does that leave Renee Zellweger's Bridget and her Mr. Darcy?
Are we going to stand around here all day, or are we going to fight?
Speaking of Mr. Darcy, British good guy Colin Firth has a new bad boy look in Kingsman, The Secret Service.
Manners maketh man.
Firth's Secret Service spy organization is out to recruit a young street kid with Kingsman potential. All he needs to do is train and transform him into a spy. Co-starring Samuel L. Jackson, Kingsman opens this fall.
We will protect you, and we will fight with you.
And finally, Scandal fans. Olivia Pope is taking a break from the small screen. Kerry Washington follows up her last comedy feature, Peoples, returning to the big screen one more time in the new romantic comedy, Is He the One? Director Malcolm D. Lee, fresh off his 2013 holiday hit, The Best Man Holiday, will direct the Scandal star.
and in festival news, this weekend, female filmmakers of African, Caribbean, Latino, Asian, Indian, and Native American descent will come together as a community to support each other at the Real Sisters of the Diaspora Film Festival and Lecture Series. The 17-year-old festival, founded by African Voices magazine and Long Island University here in New York City, is the first Brooklyn-based festival devoted to supporting films produced, directed, and written by women of color. The Real Sisters of the Diaspora Film Festival screens 25 films each year and provides resources and scholarships to emerging women filmmakers. If you get a chance, check it out. When we come back, we'll introduce our guest critics and talk about this week's releases.
I've waited to do this for so long.
No, whoa, get up. Just a second. I need to lay low for a week.
Coming up, can a 20-something-year-old afraid of commitment find comfort through her new friendship with a teenager? Keira Knightley stars in Laggies, next, here on Arise on Screen.
About the grown woman who started hanging out with a bunch of pubescent kids?
My dad's going to some lame divorcee mixer, so he'll be late.
Dad, you're supposed to knock.
Wow, high school students are looking rougher and rougher these days. Who are you?
It's kind of hard to explain.
Hey, did you hear the one about the grown woman who started hanging out with a bunch of pubescent kids?
No, what?
No, I'd never heard of it before either.
In the new film Laggies, Keira Knightley plays Megan, a confused 20-something-year-old who runs away from a marriage proposal to hang out with her new 16-year-old friend and her dad. Welcome back to Arise on Screen. Today I'm joined by film critics Justine Browning and writer and film critic Rekia Mays.
Thank you.
Welcome, both of you. So this is a film by Lynn Shelton. For me, she's the wife of Ron Shelton, who did White Men Can't Jump. She's kind of hit or miss to me. This movie was a bit of a miss, and I'll tell you more what I think. But Justine, you said you would have liked it better if she was older.
Yeah, I think the fact that Keira Knightley is this gorgeous 28-year-old woman who wants to relive her high school years because she's not ready for adulthood yet, I just didn't buy it. Your Sister's Sister, which Lynn Shelton wrote and directed, is one of my favorite films, and you can tell that she didn't actually write this film. This is the first that she directed that she didn't write, and that definitely comes across. I would have loved it if it was maybe a woman in her 40s or 50s, maybe wanting to relive her college years. That would have made more sense to me.
Well, you see, I don't know. To me, I wasn't bothered by the fact that she was in her 20s. I was bothered by the fact that it just didn't fulfill any promise. It touched upon all these interesting things, getting older, not wanting to be adult, but it had absolutely nothing to say about any of it. Now, you, on the other hand, I don't think it would have worked for you whether she was in the 20s, 30s, or 40s.
No, it was completely unrealistic. I mean, you got a 20-something-year-old woman who's walking around town, hanging out with teenagers. She's sleeping on the teenage girl's floor, and the father
lets her do it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. Stay here for a week. That's unrealistic. And then they fall in love? Really? No.
Well, I got the feeling the father did it because she was pretty, and she was like, oh, a 20-something-year-old, you know. But, I felt that the film seemed like it had an idea that you could have done something with, but it didn't. And all the performances were pretty lame. They could have renamed this film Lamies for me.
Except Sam Rockwell. I thought he was great.
This is true.
He's great in everything.
He could have done that in his sleep. There was nothing interesting. The best thing in the movie, I thought, was the girl who played Chloe Moritz's best friend.
Oh, yes. What was her name again?
Oh, shoot. I forget her name, but she was really good, and she was really, she stood out to me in a movie where nobody stood out. Caitlin, yes. I thought this movie was very disappointing, though Keira Knightley has fans. Sam Rockwell, he's always good.
Right.
But this is not a movie that I could recommend, would you?
Not at all, and not with the title of that film either. Let's start there. Let's change the title of it.
So, we're going to move on. Our next film is called Fishing Without Nets. We were first introduced to Somali pirates on screen in the Oscar-nominated Captain Phillips. Our next film, Fishing Without Nets, offers a deeper exploration of the lives of men who are often forced to take up criminal activities on the high seas.
hadda shabakhaygii wax oo kalluun uu ku jiro male nin ma oo hadduu isaga ilmaysu biilaynin sababta ciddeedii u noqon karta biil la'aan.
Now, this is a film that I was really pleasantly surprised to see, because it set out to tell like the other side of the story of the Somali pirates, and I thought it really succeeded, and I found it a surprise overall, and I think you felt the same way, that the lead actor, Abdulkani Mukhtar, was very, very good.
He was really great, but what I liked about this film was it was like Captain Phillips Part 2, but where we saw Captain Phillips from Tom Hanks' viewpoint, this was from the viewpoint of the Somalian pirates, why they do it, what drives them, really just the utter desperation as to why they're out there on the seas thieving and killing sometimes.
Right, well, not only that, what I found interesting is because part of the movie, the actual pirating is the shortest amount of the movie. It's what happens after. It takes months and months and months.
Right.
And that's something you have to be prepared for. And during that time, all kinds of relationships are made and broken. Now, you, Justine, on the other hand, I think you enjoyed this. You enjoyed the cinema verite style of it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it comes across so realistic because the director chose non-actors and people that can relate to this story a lot. And I thought it was so interesting that this director was inspired by, the Somali point of view.
Cutter Hodier's, yes.
Yes, back in 2008, when that's really not something we were looking at. We were really looking at Captain Phillips' perspective. And I think now, with the economy, the global economy kind of plummeting, I think people overall can relate to desperation and doing what you need to do to protect your family and to save your family.
Well, and I think it's interesting that the point that you made that he did this in 2008. He made a short film which won the Short Film Award at Sundance.
Wow.
So this is way before Captain Phillips. And then he went on to win Best Directing at this year's Sundance with his final feature film.
Wow.
So I'd say, I have a lot of respect for him for taking the time to really care to show the other side of the story.
When he doesn't know the language or the culture, somehow he made this film.
He made it really work. Well, this film, you have to actually go online to Vice Films and put in Fishing Without Nets just to see, because it's traveling around the country right now.
Wow.
So, and you can even host a screening yourself. So
Must
if
see.
you like this movie, I highly recommend look for it online and find out when it's going to be playing in your town. So we're going to move on, and we'll be back to talk about more movies here on Arise on Screen.
For the car. She's not for sale.
You have good day, sir.
Keanu Reeves is John Wick, a retired assassin who they just should have left alone. We talk with Keanu, star of the new action thriller, John Wick, next here on Arise on Screen. I'm Mike Sargent with Arise on Screen with a Black Film History Spotlight. Did you know Denzel Washington holds the record for the most nominations for a black actor? 4 Best Actor nominations and 2 Best Supporting Actor nominations. He holds the record for most total Oscar wins by a black actor, 1 for Best Actor and 1 for Best Supporting Actor.